Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's teaching. I'm your humble host, Mary Jane Okonkwo, and the topic we're going to be exploring together, keyword together, is kingdom economics, managing money God's way. Now, before we dive in, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm MJO, short for Mary Jane Okonkwo. I'm a passionate and disciplined swing trader, investor, kingdom economist, and a founder of Financial Markets Queen. I call myself a queen because Queen is an acronym. So Q stands for I ask the right questions. U stands for I carry the mantle of unity. E stands for I empower women across the globe. Another E stands for I speak words that edify. And N stands for I walk in nearness to God. So if all these things that I've just mentioned, you embody them, you are a queen. Now, at Financial Markets Queen, that's my brand, I empower women at any income level by teaching them how to make money, steward it wisely, and build lasting wealth through financial literacy and trading. So, which is what we're doing today. And what sets me apart is my ability to blend real life experience, proven financial strategies, and biblical wisdom to deliver wealth building tools that fit your money personality and financial goals. Now let's get into today's topic. What is kingdom economics? So the Greek, but let's first off, before we do that, let's break it down. What is the Greek word for kingdom? The Greek word for kingdom is called basileia, meaning a territory ruled by a king, dominion, authority, or reign. In the biblical sense, it means God's reign, rule, or dominion over his people and creation. And we can find that in the Bible verse of Revelation 19, verse 16. On his robe and on his thigh, he has the name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Now let's move to economics. What's the Greek word for economics? The Greek word for economics is called oikonomos, and it has a root word oikos, which means house or household. Nomos, which means law or management. And when we merge them together, it means household manager or steward that are entrusted with resources, order, and distribution. And we can find that in the Bible verse of Luke chapter 12, 42 to 44. And the Lord said, who then is the faithful and wise manager whom his master will set over his household to give them their portion of food at the proper time? Blessed, keyword, blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly, I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. So oikonomos or aka economics is about stewardship, wisely managing what belongs to the master. Now, when you now bring those keywords, kingdom and economics together, it means the divine system of managing resources, wealth, and opportunities as stewards under God's rule, ensuring that every financial decision advances its purposes and reflects its values. So before we move to the next slide, I want us to start somewhere, because for me personally, I don't know if any of us also have that mindset as well. For me, anything that I do, God has to stay at the forefront. God has to be the core reason why I'm doing this. If I'm going to do anything, I want to seek God's intervention or God's wisdom. And it's rooted in this Bible verse, Matthew 6:33. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and every other thing will be added to you. So if you want to be a steward, if you want to be, you being a steward, or you being an employer, or you being a business owner, you have to understand that you have to seek God first in your business. You have to seek God first in your workplace, and his righteousness together with it, and every other thing will be added to you. Now, if we bring it out to this teaching, we are seeking God's wisdom. We're seeking God's strategy. We're seeking God's principles so that we can now be able to implement it into our day-to-day activities. And this particular activity that we're talking about is our financial lives. Now, talking about the core principles of how do we manage money God's way. We have different core principles, but the one that is mostly prominent is stewardship, diligence, multiplication, and contentment. Another stewardship, you can find that in Psalm 24 verse 1. So I want us to get engaged. Can we go to our Bible and open Psalm 24 verse 1? Can someone help me read that particular Bible verse?
The earth is the Lord's and everything in it, the world and all who live in it.
Exactly. So if you're not a Christian here, you might probably not relate. But as a Christian, you're meant to be tied with God's principles, God, God's rules and regulations. We're not talking about worldly rules. Everything has rules and regulation. Physical money has rules and regulation. Kingdom currency has rules and regulation. Now we're talking about God's kingdom regulation concerning our finances, the first thing you need to know, which is mostly what I say to my clients, I ask them, do you believe that everything you own belongs to God? And if their answer is no, I don't think we're going to continue our conversation. That means it just automatically means that we are not aligned. And I'm very, very intentional with people I work with because we have to be aligned. So you have to understand is, let me also be able to work with you guys. Let's put it in the chat box, please. Do you believe everything you own belongs to God? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Just quick in the chat box. Yes or no? Do you believe everything you own belongs to God? Okay,
Yes.
I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. Okay, great. Thank you. So that means you should know that since everything belongs to God, and what we already explained kingdom economics to be is we are God's steward. So if everything belongs to God, if that money that you're getting, if that salary that you're getting, if that income that you are receiving belongs to God, you are a what? You are not a owner, you are a manager. And it's expected of you to use that money faithfully. Use that money judiciously, use that money well. So if you're misusing your money right now, this is a rhetorical question. Ask yourself, are you misusing the resources God has given to you? Are you misusing your salary? Are you misusing the profits that you're getting from your clients? If you're doing that, or let's say, are you misusing your gifts, your talents God has blessed you with? If you're misusing it, this is a key for you to change your trajectory. Another principles of how to manage God's money is diligence. Wealth is built through consistent hard work and discipline. Can someone read Proverbs 21, verse 5?
He says, the plan of the diligent leads to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty.
Exactly. So this is you understanding that, first off, if we look at Genesis, the first thing God instructed Adam to do was work. Work. God instructed Adam to work. So when you now accept that everything God owns is, God does not want us to be idle. God does not want us to live off the mindset of trying to look for where we can get quick money. God wants us to work. God desires for us to work. And now he's not saying if you're not going to work, you want to do that diligently, you want to do that consistently, and you want to be disciplined in doing that. I don't know if I'm making sense. So you want to be able to do that because that way you get gain for what you're doing. You cannot be in somebody's company and you're not doing an excellent job and you expect to be paid. You cannot be running a business and you do not show up for your clients and you expect them to buy what you're selling. God is encouraging us that we are expected to work, we're expected to serve people, and for us to receive, we have to give our services to our clients, to our employees, to our employers, even to our clients, even to the clients coming to the company that you're working for. Right now, just change your mindset that you're an employee. If you're in a company, you're still running a business. Someone coming to your company to ask for your company services, that's your client. So you want to treat that client like your own. That is what God is encouraging us to do. Let's do a diligent work. Let's do an excellent work. Do not do it for your employer. Do not do it for your customers. Do it for God. Which moves us to another principle, multiplication. And we can find that in Matthew 25, 14 to 30. I know this one is going to be a long one, but let me just summarize what that particular Bible verse was trying to say. Is the parable of the talents. We all know the parable of the talents, where one was given 10 talents, the other one was given 5, another one was given 1. The one that was given 10 multiplied it, the one that was given 5 multiplied it, and the one that was given 1 did what? Please, can we put in the chat box what's the one that was given 1, what did the person do?
He
The
buried
person
it.
multiplied or buried it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Now, God expects us to grow what He has given us, not bury it. Investing and multiplying resources is part of obedience. But before we move to the first one I mentioned, investing, let's talk about the multiplying. Now, in your workplace, in your business, or however way you make money, now How are you multiplying that money? This week was salary week for those that are in 9 to 5. This week was salary week. When your money came, where did all the money go to? Where did all the money go to? Did you splurge? Did you spend? Did you multiply that money? What did you use that money for? That's a rhetorical question. Now, God wants us to remember that first off, everything we own belongs to Him. The clients coming to patronize us, the employer that is paying us salary is his own. He makes that happen. He made that happen for you. Now we now want you that if you're in your workplace or in your business zone, you want to do a diligent and excellent work. Now it now says that when you not get profits from you being diligent, it wants you to multiply it. It does not want you to bury it. It does not want you to put it under the bed. It wants you to what? Multiply the resources. That is another principle of kingdom economics. Now the last one is contentment. Wealth is a process, not an instant event. Contentment guides us from debt traps, get rich quick schemes, and poor stewardship. Now the Bible says in 1 Timothy verse 6-6, it says godliness, contentment leads to great gains. That's literally what the Bible verse was saying. So that is God. That is another biblical sense for us to be aware of as financial stewards. That you want to be content. If you're earning 100,000, if you're earning 200,000, if you're earning 1,000, in fact, if you're not even earning any money, be content. That's a season. That's a phase. It's not your identity. It's not who you are. That is just a phase. Whatever phase you're in, whatever money that you're getting, whatever talents that you feel you have, that you see other people having more than you, be content with where you are. Then strive to want to be better. Because when you're content, you'll be able to not find yourself falling for get rich quick schemes or debt traps. You find yourself trying to want to borrow money to fit in, trying to want to borrow money from this person to buy the latest gadgets, to buy the latest clothes, to buy. You get what I'm saying? God does not desire that from us. There's even a part in there's a Bible verse, Proverbs 22 verse 7. The borrower is servant to the lender. I feel like this particular Bible verse, whenever I remember it, I always want to tell myself that if I find myself thinking, oh, I want to borrow money from somebody, I remember that Bible verse and I say to myself, I don't think I want to be a slave to anybody because of what. But however, if I'm going to want to now do that, if I'm going to now find myself borrowing that money, I want to be very certain that is actually worth it. Philippians 4 verse 11, Paul says, I have learned in whatever state I am to be content. So whatever state you're in, my dear sisters, please be content. Know that is a phase, is not your identity. It will suffice. It will pass. That is another principles of kingdom economics. As talking about kingdom economics, we are not just talking about money management. We are talking about aligning our finances with God's kingdom principles, which are stewardship, diligence, multiplication, and contentment. These are the building blocks of true lasting wealth, God's way. There's even another one, which is generosity, but it's going to be on the coming slide. It's coming up. That is also another principles for managing money God's way. Let's move to the next slide. So with all being said, let's now talk about how we can actually live out these principles in our daily financial lives. How do we apply stewardship, diligence, multiplication, and contentment in practical ways? But before we dive in, let me give this disclaimer. I am here to share principles of financial literacy, not specific financial advice. Please use wisdom, seek God's guidance, and always do your own research before making financial decisions. Because the Bible says in Luke 14 verse 28, suppose one of you wants to build a tower, won't you first sit down and estimate the costs to see if you have enough money to complete it? So let's move to the next slide. Now, what is financial literacy? Simply put, financial literacy is the ability to understand and manage money well. It's not about how much you earn, but about what you do with it. Which brings me to this next question that I want us to exercise ourselves on. If money is not the problem, would you be working in your workplace, or would you be running that same business that you're doing? What's your relationship with money? Question mark. 1, talking stage. 2, dating stage. 3rd one, engaged. 4th one, marriage stage. I tied that to our relationship because as an individual, we are all girls here. We we will once been in a relationship, or we aspire to want to be in a relationship. So talking stages, you just met somebody, you guys are still talking. What's your favorite colors? What's your favorite food? What do you do? Like, you're still getting to know each other. So in terms of finances, you're still trying to understand money. You don't even know what money is. You don't even know that there's a principle governing money. You're just doing inshallah with your money. You're just, when money comes, okay, you eat it. You don't even know what to do with your money. You're just there. Then the dating stages, you've now understood what money is. You guys are now rapporting. You guys are now officially dating. You guys are now rapporting, like, you know that, okay, there are principles governing money. Okay, I'm supposed to do this, I'm supposed to do that, I'm supposed to not do that, I'm supposed to do that. Now, the part of engaged, that means those principles that you already know is what is governing money. You are disciplined, you are consistent in it. The dating stage, you're just dilly-dallying, dilly-dally. You know, when you're dating somebody, some people, they can be in a relationship and they will be dating somebody else. They are not committed to that one person. You can be dating multiple people. So you can be in your dating stage in terms of marriage, whereas you're not consistent. This month, you would do the principles that is governing money. The next month, you are back to your talking stage, back to you not even understanding what money is. So you're unstable. That's the dating stage. Then the talking stage, the engaged stage is you are disciplined. You're showing up. You're doing it. You're doing it. It's not becoming a part of you. It's something like, if you don't even do it, you feel bad. Now the marriage stages, you guys are now locked in. You've now locked in that you're not even looking for more ways to now expand your money, more ways to not even multiply your money, more ways to not even grow that money, because you are now an oga patapata. If you receive money, if money comes into your account, like this week now, that was salary week, when money came into your account, what's the first thing you did?
I remove my tithe.
Thanks.
Okay, okay. So everybody says they remove their tithe, right?
Mhm. Yes.
Okay. For me, I pray over the money. That's the first thing I
Mm.
do. I pray over that money because, like I said, I have my principles, which is seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. Every other thing will be added to you. So anything that concerns my life has to be God first. I need to pray over that money because I've had this revelation that not every money is good. So I always want to pray over that money. The aspect of, if money was not an issue, would you still be doing what you're doing now? So if you say yes, that's a sign you're working in alignment. Now, if you say no, then perhaps God is calling you to reposition, because your work isn't just about survival. It's a form of kingdom service, and God desires that whatever we do it diligently and cheerfully as unto him. Now, I understand the aspect that, okay, yes, you're just there for a particular season, which brings me to what I said about contentment. It's not your identity, it's just a phase you're. But for those that they are there because of, oh, I have to survive, please, that's kingdom principles. Now I'm teaching kingdom principles. I'm not teaching worldly principles. I'm teaching kingdom principles. So this is what I'm going to say to you. I am not here to sugarcoat or say anything to make you feel good. I am here to say it as it is. So it might not sit well with you, but that's the principle. Sometimes they will say, when for those that are driving, when you come to a red light, you have to stop. But because we're in a hurry, we want to pass. But when Olokpa holds us, we shouldn't be saying, why now, why now? It's not fair, it's not fair. You disobey the principles, which is red light means stop. So if you are working in a place because, oh, the pay is good, I want to survive, this is for you to realign. I'm not saying quit your job, I'm not saying leave. This is for you to be realigned and understand that that is not what God desires for you. God does not want you to be in a workplace for you to survive. He wants you to be there, to be in something that he has called you on. And I'm going to use myself as an example. I was once in the beauty sector, and I enjoyed it because I believe that anything we're doing is worth doing well. So whatever that I'm doing, I do it diligently well. But for some reason, I just felt this uneasiness. I just felt this, like, there's just this ick. There was that I didn't just feel at peace with it until I eventually ventured into financial markets, and it just feels like every day I'm just being bombarded with wisdom. I'm just being bombarded with things to do. Like, I don't see it as I'm working. I don't even see it as, oh, I'm doing it for kingdom. So I'm not even seeing it as I'm doing it for, oh, I want to survive. But from the beginning, I wanted to do that. Oh yes, I want to get money. I want to be wealthy so that I can be able to help my family travel the world. But right now, I'm not even saying it that way anymore. I'm saying it as, I want this to be a vehicle where I used to empower women, which is why I said my purpose with financial market money. So empower women like Kelechi, Anna, Fumi, Dami to take charge of their financial destiny. So I find fulfillment with this. Even if I don't even have a client in a month, I'm not bothered because God is the one that supplies my clients for me. God is the one that makes provision for me. So if I'm not able to feed, it will make provision for me, and He has been providing. He has been providing. So the fact that my anchor is rested on God and not rested on my clients or rested on others, it has given me a self of relief, or yes, it has given me a peace of mind to know that okay, yes, if I'm now pushing my brand, Financial Market Queen, I am pushing it for kingdom purposes to serve people, not because of the profits. But even if the profit comes, the profit is just the tip of the iceberg, but not necessarily the reason why I am doing that. Do you understand? So now the principle governing physical money, which is financial literacy in financial terms. The first one is earning. Before you can save, invest, or even give, you have to earn money, right? Exactly. But I also want to encourage those who may not have a steady income right now. Maybe you're job hunting or still waiting for opportunities. You are not forgotten. Because if you remember in Genesis 26, verse 18 to 19, the case of Isaac, when Isaac was experiencing a famine and he wanted to go to Egypt, what did God say to him? God said to him, no, don't, do not go there. I am going to make provision for you. The same thing happened to Abraham as well. I want us to know that this is a phase, is not your identity, is not who you are. You're not having a job right now, or you're not making money right now, is just a phase. It will surpass. What you now need to do as someone that is not making any money right now is you want to be learning skills, which if you're in this class, you are in the right place. You're already starting the right way because you want to be able to learn all these principles governing kingdom wealth and physical money so that when that money starts coming, you'll be able to know how to use that money instead of you not being knowledgeable. And when that money comes, you splurge it or you use it for things that is not in God's alignment with your life. So I want you to know that you are not forgotten. And just like Abraham and Isaac faced seasons of famine, but God was faithful to provide for them. You are also in your waiting season. Do not despise it. Use this time to sharpen your skills and improve your knowledge and prepare yourself so that when the income does come, of which it will, you already know how to steward it. And for those who are already earning, whether through a job, a business, a side hustle, the next question is how diligent are you with the work that brings that income? The Bible says all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. Proverbs 14:23. Now, which I already asked that question, that's the reason why I asked if what you're doing right now, your workplace or your business, if money was not a problem, would you still be there? And we already spoke about that. Now, which brings me to the idea of the next principles for physical money or financial literacy, saving. Now, let's say you receive 100,000 naira. What's your next step? Some of us says the first thing that they do is the tithe. Me, I say I pray over it, which is, like I said, which is great. There's no one size fits all. Now, it's still going to be a thing of, that's the thing I said, when you understand money, you understand that with money, you should have rules to it. There's this question that was asked in my financial community about what is your money mantra? My money mantra, I don't know if anyone, even if any one of us have a money mantra. My money mantra is I am in control of money. Money is not in control of money because money is a tool. I want you guys to know that money is a tool. That's why I said everything belongs to God. That money is is a piece of paper. That money is a piece of paper because for that piece of paper to be able to be created, they use different things that God created to make that money. I don't know if if I'm making sense. So now, when you now know that that is okay, thank you, Anna. So when you now know that that is the case, how do you now want to be able to use that physical money that you are getting? You have to now have a rule for it, which is going to bring me to the next slide. I'm going to talk about it, but I don't want to waste so much time on that. So saving is the next thing, like I said. Wisdom is in saving, storing and not storing. Wisdom is in saving, storing, not consuming all. Because if you remember, there's a particular Bible verse that spoke about ants, how they gather provisions for when there will be dry season. So, which is still breaking down of There's even, I don't know if any of us have read this book, but I would recommend, or if you need it, you can also message me, so I'll send it to you. It's an ebook. I have it on my laptop. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon. Yes. One of the principles that the man said was he said, whenever money that you're getting, you have to set aside 10%. Some of us, it can feel overwhelming. You can start by 5%, but just give. So if as an individual you're earning and all your money is just going to you spending and you don't even save, now it's time for you to change your trajectory, because for you to understand that you have to pay yourself. Yes, you're getting salary, but you also have to pay yourself. You have to pay yourself for the future. You have to pay yourself for when there will be an emergency. So you want to set aside 10%. I do 10%. So whichever one works for you, you can do 20, you can do 50, I don't know. But my own rule is nothing less than 10%. Maybe when my income starts increasing, I cannot start increasing the percentage, but for now is 10%. So whichever one works for you. So now I want us to know that when you're doing that, this is not just about restriction, it's a roadmap for your money. Because when you budget or when you set aside that money for saving, it's just you storing up for the future, just like the reference that I gave with the ant and all of that. But for in our own sense is for emergency. There may be a time that your family member needs something and is a do or die that, okay, see, you're the only one that can actually help. You can take her from your saving. Or it could be that, God forbid, you have an health issue and you need money. You can go into that saving. So this is going to be a way for you to be encouraged that you see why saving is good. So that, because there will always be emergencies, something will always happen. Something will definitely occur. Now, there's now a tricky question. You want to now keep that savings. Where do you keep that savings? You keep that saving in an account that is producing income for you, basically, in a high yield income account. So it can be, the accounts can actually be beating inflation or close to inflation, because inflation is the canker worm that eats deep into our money. So if you're keeping your money for emergency funds, you want to keep it in an account that is actually growing that money to an extent. The income, the percentage might not be, because our inflation rate is, if I'm not mistaken, 20 to 30%. And I don't think there's any high yield income savings account that is up to that amount. I think the one I know of, which is PiggyVest, I don't know if anyone knows of PiggyVest. I think their maximum is 22%, 18, okay, perfect, 18% to 22%. It's still fair, rather than you just keeping it in your traditional bank accounts that the percentage is not even up to 10%, if I'm not mistaken. Or is there any by traditional bank accounts that their savings is up to 10%? Please let me know. So the one I know of is PiggyVest. So if you can use PiggyVest to be keeping your savings, your temp every month, if your salary comes in, 10% of that salary, you put it into your investment. You put it into that PiggyVest, where it's going to be accruing profits for you at the end of the year or at the end of the month. Now, which brings me to the next principle for physical currency, or the next principle governing financial literacy, which is investing. Beyond saving, God calls us to multiply. Remember the time we did the kingdom economics where we spoke about multiplication. Multiplication in the financial term, or in our own practical experience, or in our own physical sense, is investment. So remember the parable of the talents, like you said, the master was pleased with the servants who multiplied, but was given to them and displeased with the one who buried his talent. Investing is one way of multiplying resources. It means putting a portion of your income to work for you, whether through assets, businesses, or markets, so that what you've been entrusted with can grow. So now that assets can be in form of stocks, in form of REITs, in form of mutual funds, which I'm going to explain in the coming slides. And you can also, people invest in businesses. I would one day want to invest in small businesses. When I see that business has potential to grow, I want to invest in that business as well. So that is you multiplying. God has given you provision through your job, with your salary. God has given you provision through your business with the profit that you're getting off of your clients. Now you want to be able to set aside an amount of money to multiply that money that God has given you. He doesn't just want you to just squander all the money or bury it. He wants you to multiply, which is going to happen through investment. That which brings me to the last principle, this principle, you can imagine that this principle is also tied into kingdom economics, like I mentioned, and it's also tied into financial literacy. I think there was a there was a content an article that I saw where they were speaking about Otedola's numerous philanthropists, philanthropy, philanthropical activities. He invests in schools, he invests in churches. Sorry, he gives to churches, he gives to schools, he gives to mosques, he gives to people. So if it just struck me that if the billionaires, because we always want to say, oh, I want to be like Otedola, I want to be like Dangote. But do you understand the practical steps those people are doing consistently in their life? Or do you just want the money, but you don't want to do the things that they are doing? One of them is giving. They give. They give. But I feel like we are now so blocked with the aspect that, oh, giving is finances, giving is time. What I'm doing right now is me being generous, is me giving. I'm giving knowledge, I'm sharing knowledge. You listening to me and not being somewhere else spending your time is you being generous. But if we're not bring it to practical term, in financial terms, you want to give. For some of us that we said we give 10% when money comes to tithe, that's good. That's good. Heaven is very proud of you. You want to do that through your offering as well. You want to do that when you see you want to do that through financing God's kingdom. You see a ministry that you feel like this ministry needs finances to grow. You want to also help that ministry as well. Even in Lord by God community, this is something we're already doing. We see that one of our member is getting married, or one of our member lost is one of their loved ones. They feel like, okay, we want to now encourage them by supporting them financially. That's you being generous. So I want you to know that this is a principle that don't just do it because somebody says so. Do it because that is what kingdom economics is. That is what managing God's money is in practical terms. So as we've seen, financial literacy isn't just about money management, it's about heart management, earning diligently, budgeting wisely, saving faithfully, investing strategically, and giving generously. All of these are biblical ways to steward God's resources. And when we apply them daily, we are not just building wealth, we are advancing God's kingdom. Let's move to some practical exercises. This is also where I want to empower you directly. My first question is, what would your financial reports to God look like right now? The questions should be faithful, improving, or struggling. Faithful is because the reason why I'm saying this is I try to, because this is a Christian based community. So I want everything to be backed up with God's word. But if I'm in a community whereby it's not that way, I will not say to you that, how do you track your money? Are you consistent in tracking your money? Or the parts where I said, are you improving? That means, is it a one-on, one-off way of you tracking your expenses, like tracking your money, like in a month? Now salary came in.
I'm very bad with that.
Let's take for instance, now the first thing you did was you paid your tithe. Did you write it down in your Excel spreadsheet, or do you have an app where you're putting it down? Okay, say
that's not my
this
option.
is the first thing you did. Okay, now struggling is going to be that you don't even know what it is. You don't even know what it is. What is it? You're just enjoying your money. When money comes, you're just enjoying. You don't even know that you're supposed to give an account, because, like I said, we are stewards. So God is going to ask us, what did you use the money I gave you? Just the same way He asked those three men, what did you use the 10 talents I gave? What did you use it for? But we're not saying in terms of financial aspect. So in your finances, with your money, do you track them faithfully? Do you track them? Are you improving? Are you doing this one day, 1 month on, 1 month off? Or you don't even have an idea of what it is in the first place? Now, we're not talking about what you use your money for. We're talking about how do you track them, so that at the end of the month, you will review that Excel spreadsheet. You will review that app, so that you know where your money is going. If, for instance, for people that are doing 9 to 5, maybe you receive your salary now. Maybe tomorrow you're going to work, or let's say Monday you're going to work, or let's say tomorrow you're going to church. You used Uber or you used bus. You put it in your Excel spreadsheet that this amount was used for my transportation to church. Every dime. That's why I said, if God asks you now, this is just me putting in the biblical aspect. If I'm not asking you right now, what is your expenses? Tomorrow is the end of August. Every money that you've received in the month of August, how much was it? You cannot be able to, some of us cannot be able to know. Or even if you do know, okay, how did you spend that money? Where did those money go? That's why you see that at the end of the day, we're telling ourselves, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be a millionaire. You don't already know you're already a millionaire. It's because you're not even taking account of the money that is coming in. So this is going to be a spiritual awakening for you to get serious with your finances by tracking them. So I don't know if Excel spreadsheet works for you, or I can also share the expense tracking app that I use. It gives you a broader view to know that, okay, these expenses that I did, is it actually necessary? Is it actually worth it? So now let's move to the next question. Write one area where you've mismanaged money before and what one area you commit to manage better God's way. Now, this can be a personal exercise, but I want you to I'll just give you guys like a few seconds for you to do that. Write one area where you've mismanaged money. What comes into your mind? One area where you've mismanaged money before and one area you commit to manage better God's way. So that area of your life where you feel like you've mismanaged money, ask yourself, what wisdom can I be able to apply to this so that I am no longer mismanaging money? Because you are God's steward. God does not desire for us to be God does not desire for us to mismanage what He has given us. Because when you're not be able to, because there's a Bible that says that if you do well with a little, more is going to be given to you. If the little God is giving you, you're not doing judiciously well with it, how do you expect God to give you more? So let this class be a yardstick for you to change your trajectory towards how you're mismanaging funds, and stop giving yourself excuses. Look for substitutes. Except there's an exception. Except that, okay, no, you know that this one is not a situation of substitute. This one is just that, okay, this is going to be a value to me. For instance, there are people that, which is going to bring me to the needs and wants. Let me know, be faster than my shadow. I'm going to talk about it next to the next one, which is my budgeting rule. My budgeting rule is 10, 20, 50, 10, 20, 10, 50, 10. Now, this is going to be different for you. Now, when money comes into my account, for instance, 10% for me, like I said, first thing I do is I pray over the money and I start using it. 10% is going to philanthropy. It could be to my tithe. It could be to God places somebody in my heart for me to give that money to, or it could be me to my ministry or to my church. But I know that 10% is going to philanthropy. I put it under the umbrella of philanthropy so that I know that it's not for me. It's for God's kingdom purposes or for somebody God has placed in my heart. So 10% for me is going to philanthropy. 20% for me is going into investments. 10% is going into savings for me. Then 50% is for my needs. And 10% is for my wants. So now I want to now shed light on the difference between needs versus wants, because this is so important, because sometimes the reason we mismanage money is not that we don't earn enough, is that we confuse wants for needs. Needs are essentials. These are things you cannot do without in order to live and function. For example, food, shelter, like your rent, transportation to work, basic clothing, and health care. Needs are usually non-negotiable. Wants, on the other hand, are extras. They may make life more enjoyable, but you can still live without them. For instance, your monthly Netflix subscription. Those in the abroad, your daily Starbucks coffee, or you upgrading your phone when you know the one you're still using still works. I'm just giving you guys an example for you to know that there's a difference between needs and wants. Sometimes our wants can be disguised as needs, but if we apply wisdom, we know that that wants is actually not necessarily needs. Your needs are your non-negotiables. That's why my needs for me is my 50%. And for me personally, my needs is the food that I eat, my data, because for me to work, I work from a virtual space. So for me to work, I need data. So data for me is non-negotiable. Let's be able to apply wisdom with our finances so that we can be able to detect wants that are disguised as needs, please. So now here's where wisdom comes in, because needs are not bad, but if you overspend on wants, your needs will suffer. That's why I now said these are my budgeting rules. I now know what my needs are. So take it, write it down. What are your needs? Your needs are non-negotiable. Your needs should come first before your wants. Like I said to you, 10% goes to philanthropy, 20% goes to investment, 10% goes to saving, 10% if this my savings needs to even come first before my investment. After this class, I'm going to rearrange it. So that way when money comes, I go to my notes and I say that, okay, this is what goes first. like, this is how judiciously I do this. That's why I asked you guys, what's your relationship with money? Consistency and discipline matters here, sisters. 10% goes to your tithe. For those that probably brand it as tithe. Me, I brand my as philanthropy because in a month it might probably not be tithe. It could be God's placing it in my heart so for me to give it to somebody. So 10% goes to saving, 20% goes to investment because I'm applying the principles of multiplication. Now, 50% is surrendered to my needs. Then 10% is to my want. So if my wants is more than the 10% that I have removed, I have to transfer that want to the next month. And if it's not able to, I have to keep transferring. I can do without it. There's some saying situations that I find myself that I felt like I will not be able to do without. Guess what happened? I did without. For example, right now, which brings me to now this question. Some of us don't know what is the difference between an asset and a liability. An asset is what takes money. An asset is what brings money into your account, and a liability is what takes money into your account. Then, do you think a car is an asset or a liability?
Personally, I don't have a car. Personally, I think the car is going to be an asset because of the amount of money I spend on transportation.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. That's very good. Yes, and I agree. It can be a need also because it is actually doing something for you because you spend more money on transportation. That's very true. Because if you buy a car and you can afford, and that helps you get to work, that's a need. But if you buy a car that is way beyond your budget just to impress others, it becomes a want and even a liability. Do you see the dynamics right now? So that's why I said sometimes some wants can be disguised as needs, but you have to not look into it to see that maybe this is actually not a need, this is actually a want. And some needs can be disguised as needs, but they're actually wants. So really, really do a thorough review of your finances so you can be able to rearrange them and manage money God's way. So, which brings us to types of investments. Now we have numerous types of investments. Some of the common ones include stocks. Stocks is owning a piece of a company. For instance, we're using Google now to connect. Google is a company. Google is publicly traded. Google is a stock. When you go to your fintech app, or for those in America, you go to a brokerage firm and you feel like you say yes, you want to start investing and you want to invest in stocks, you want to invest in Google. I think their ticker symbol is GOOGL. You want to invest in Google. You see, okay, yes, I want to invest in Google because I don't know why for some reason I'm always using Google Meet for my meeting. This is me generating profit for them. You're using Google Meet. This is us generating profits for Google. So you want to be able to participate that, oh, Google, instead of me generating just money for you, let me also be participating as a shareholder. Now, this is very broad, but like I said, I'm just giving you guys the basics. Now, for stocks, there are different types of stocks. There are stocks that you are going to be a shareholder because you are generating, because you're investing a certain amount of money, just like we said with budgeting rule. My 20% goes to investment. So if, for instance, now I take 20% of my investments right now and I put it into Google, I'm going to now say that, okay, Google, I bought Google for $330. When Google increases to $500, my capital is going to increase. The capital that I invested in is going to increase. Now, Google can also be paying dividend. Dividend is the profit shared to shareholders as the company is generating more income. Not everybody pays dividends. Some companies do not pay dividends. I don't know if Google pays dividends, but I hope they do. So if, for instance, Google is paying dividends, they can pay that once a year, or they can pay that twice a year. So when they do that, they will give profit of the number of shares that you invested in them. So if, for instance, you bought like 10 shares from Google, 10 times of the dividends. So some people, they pay $3, $4, $1, $5, $6. I don't think I've seen any dividend that's up to $10. So they pay you that dollar times the number of shares that you bought with them. So stocks as a whole is you investing in a particular company, like for instance Google, for instance Apple. I don't know if some of us uses an iPhone. Apple, you can invest in Apple. I don't know if some of us use what's this thing, WhatsApp. You can invest in Meta. You use Facebook, you use Instagram. That's you investing in Meta. But I try to not want to teach from a place of, oh, what you're using every day, look into it and invest in it. I try not to want to teach that way, because what you're using every day, their financial statements can be spiraling downwards. But the one that you don't actually use every day, their financial statement can actually be good. So that's why I said, always do your due diligence. This is not financial investment. This is not financial advice. Do your due diligence. Look into the financial health of a particular company that you want to invest in, because you're working for your money. Cool. Do you just want to just be throwing money away? If some of us are not comfortable with stocks, of which I feel everybody should be, if you're not up to 40 feet, no, if you're not up to 50, 60, I don't see any reason why you should not be investing in stocks. In terms of investing in a particular company, like I said, the first thing first is you want to check their financial health, and you can do that through investing.com. I do mine through investing.com. You want to check their financial statement, you want to check their balance sheet. I don't know if some of us does accounting, but right now, financial literacy, you don't have to be an accountant, you don't have to study accounting, you don't have to study economics. Learn. This will be also part of your skills as well. So learn it. Understand how. Now we have ChatGPT that can also help us understand why you want to invest in Apple. What is their financial statement? What was the company's income growth as of last year 2024 and as of this year 2025? Do you think is growing? So there are different types of stocks. There's growth stocks and there are value stocks. So I think Apple falls under growth stock because these are stocks that they've established themselves. Stocks like Coca-Cola, they've established themselves. They know that this stock is not going anywhere. It does not mean that they will not follow, but you just know that is rare. Is very, 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 very rare that Apple will fall, because Apple has shown thousands and thousands and thousands of years that it will stand solid. Even when there was the 2008 global recession, Apple still stood solid. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Amazon. These are the seven magnificent stocks. That's the Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, and Tesla. These are 7 stocks that actually, and majority of them are under technology sector. I don't even know if any of us have heard of S&P 500. These are the stocks that actually moves the US stock markets. These 7 giants: Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nvidia, Meta, Tesla. They are the stocks that moves US stocks in general. But when we bring it to our home country, Nigeria, we have stocks like Okomo Oil, Presco, ABC Transports is also publicly traded. CWG, I don't know if anybody knows CWG. That's one of our very strong, uncompetitive technology in Nigeria. CWG. Yes, we have Better Glass. We have our banks as well. We have Zenith Bank. If you're banking with Zenith Bank, you are banking with GT, you're banking with First Bank, you're banking with Access Bank, you're banking with Fidelity. You can also be a shareholder in their company because they are publicly traded. You can also be a shareholder, which moves us now to the next one: mutual funds. Mutual funds, people feel like they want to just be on the safe side with mutual. I feel like mutual funds and exchange traded funds, which is ETFs, they are the safe haven. People that feel like, okay, I don't really understand this investment thing, let me just be on the safe side. They try to want to be on the mutual funds and the ETFs and even the treasury bills. But like I said, if you're not up to 50 to 60 years, I don't see any reason why you should be in any of this investment assets and not on stocks. The difference between ETF and stock is ETFs carries, for instance, like S&P 500. That 500 is 500 publicly traded United States stocks or United States companies, and the top 10 are the ones I just mentioned, which are the 7 magnificent stocks, the 7 giants, the Tesla, the Amazon, the Meta, all of that. There are numerous, 500 of them. There's then VTI. I have VTI in my portfolio. VTI is carrying 5,000 companies. As opposed to, if I want to invest in stocks now, I only just invest in Tesla. You know that it's just Tesla. You know it's just Google. But with ETF, you can invest in one particular ETF, but that ETF is covering majority of over 5,000 or 500 companies in the US. And the reason why people also fall into ETFs is because it's based on safety nets. Safety net in the sense that if I invest in just Tesla right now, and Tesla goes bankrupt, all my money in Tesla is gone. But if I invest in VTI and I know that VTI carries Tesla, now if I invest in VTI and Tesla goes down, my portfolio in my money in VTI will not disappear, because why? It's not just Tesla that is moving VTI as the ETF. It is there are other stocks. There's Meta, there's Google, there's Amazon. I don't know if I'm saying something that is everybody's be able to understand. Like, I hope I'm cohesive and I'm comprehensive. Like, can everyone understand what I'm saying here? I know it's broad, is literally broad. Like, the terminology is just a lot, but just bear with me. So stocks is owning a piece of a company. Mutual funds is a pool of money from many investors managed by professionals. You're not managing it. You're just sitting there and somebody is helping you put your money in places that your money will be generating income. And at the end of the year, they will pay you your interest. But stocks, you're the one in charge. You're the owner of your portfolio. You're the CEO of your portfolio, because you are investing in a particular company that you feel like you trust. Now, ETFs, which is the exchange traded funds, which I said is also like mutual funds, but they trade like stocks, is in aspect of carrying multiple companies, carrying the likes of Google, the likes of Tesla, the likes of Amazon, carrying all of them into one bowl, into one basket, and say that, okay, people should come and invest in this particular ETFs, because ETFs is carrying all these stocks that are good. Do you understand? Okay, let me bring it to our own Nigeria now. Let's say, for instance, Cowbell, Luna, Three Crown, and which other one again? We know Coca-Cola and Pepsi, and let's come to agriculture. Let's say Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar, which other one again? GT Bank. Let's say all these I just mentioned, and an investment company came together and said, okay, let's bring all these companies together, and so that everybody can be able to trade it. Now, all these companies are under one umbrella. They are called ETFs. Now, they can be sold for, let me say, 30 naira per share. So when you invest in these ETFs that has the likes of Cowbell, Luna, Three Crown Milk, Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Dangote Cement, Dangote Sugar, you are investing in ETFs. Now, the reason why professionals, they don't actually go into ETFs, they just go there maybe just for diversification sake. Like for me, I went into diversification sake, but it's because with ETFs, the risk is minimal. Because why? You're not investing in just one stocks. You're investing in multiple pool of stocks. As opposed to if you're just investing in stocks, whereby you're investing in Pepsi, you're only investing in Pepsi. If anything happens to Pepsi, that's it. But if anything happens to that particular ETF, if anything happens to Pepsi that is inside that ETF, it's not going to affect your portfolio, because Coca-Cola is there to carry it. Luna is there to carry it. Three Crown Milk is there to carry it. Dangote Cement is there to carry it. Now, which brings me now to real estate investment. People explain real estate as the only investment that is real. It's the only thing that you see that, okay, yes, you can see it as, okay, this is your investment, this is a land. And it has historical roots. Like from Abraham, God gave Abraham land, gave Isaac land, gave Jacob land. Land right now, anybody will say to you, if anybody asks me now, what is that investment that you want, that will give you? Give me land. Because land can also be able to appreciate. Now, there's a downside. Sometimes some lands are not able to appreciate too. There's some lands that there's a particular property my father has that property is always looking at that property and saying to himself that why did he invest in this property? Because this property is not even appreciating in any way, shape, or form. It takes time. Landed properties, they are intangible, meaning that it's not liquid. It's not something you can just easily say, okay, I want to say, oh, I'm broke, I want to sell my land, and you get immediate buyer right now, and buy it. It's not really like that. As opposed to stocks, as opposed to ETFs, as opposed to mutual funds, that you can say, okay, I need my money right now, please, I want to sell. You will sell it, and immediately you get your money. But the thing with land is, with land appreciates. There are people that they've made over 500% of the money they invest in a particular land. So that's why it's very important that you are very, very intentional with where you decide to want to buy your landed property from. Take for instance, people that bought land in Ekpe, I remember, I'm pretty sure that then they will say, this place cannot grow, this environment cannot grow. But right now, Ekpe is the hot cake. So there was a certain time that they were selling land in Ekpe for like, let me say, 100,000 naira. Right now, you cannot see any land in Ekpe for 100,000 naira because now the government has now transferred their attention to Ekpe. They're now building international airports there. Dangote Cement is now doing his refinery there. Now, traffic is not coming to Ekpe. Lands there are not appreciating. So even if you feel like you cannot be able to afford a land in a particular place, that's for landed properties. If you're not able to afford a land in a particular place, you can go to your environment and see that, okay, let me see. Do you think in the next how many years government can actually pay attention to this particular area and my property will accrue? Because they'll always advise that always look at where the government is paying attention to. Because when the government is paying attention to a particular area, it brings traffic to that particular place. As I used the example of Ekpe. Now, for some of us that we don't have money to buy land, me for example, I don't have money to buy land right now. There's a solution for us because every problem has a solution, right? Now you can become a real estate investor with just 10,000 naira. Yes, you can become a real estate investor with just 10,000 naira. You'll be asking how is that possible? You do that through REITs, real estate investment trusts. That's what REIT stands for. REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. These are companies that pool money from many people to invest in income-producing real estate, like malls, office buildings, apartments, or hotels. When you buy into a REIT, you don't have to buy a house or land yourself. You simply invest a small amount and you earn returns as those properties generate income. It's like being a landlord without the stress of tenants or property management. And here's the good part. You can start small. And you can set aside a percentage of your income every month. And you can even do this for your children. Many platforms today allow minor accounts with parental guidance. Yes. Investment is not just restricted to just adults. Even minors can also key into investments. So if you don't have money right now, like me, to buy landed property, you can start becoming a real estate investor with buying real estate publicly traded stocks. And we have the example in our country, in Nigeria, we have the example of UPDC. We have UN Homes. We have SFS REITs, but they are all called REITs because these are not you cannot actually see them because they are not land, but they are stocks. But in the real term, they are actually landed properties. But it's just that you're not the one putting it. In the abroad, we have the likes of Simon Property. We have the likes of GNL. There are a lot of them. So even if, yes, you cannot be able to afford to buy a landed property, you can also become a real estate investor through investing in REITs, real estate investment trusts. So now, I want us to know that kingdom economics is not about how much you have, but how faithfully you manage what you have. When you align your money with God's rule, you unlock divine strategies for wealth, peace, and legacy. Which brings us to the next slide, please. Today we've seen and also heard managing money God's way means seeing ourselves as stewards, not owners. God is the king and we manage his resources faithfully to fulfill his purposes. So I want us to leave this meeting with this particular Bible verse at the back of our mind, which says, "And you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the power to get wealth, that he may establish his covenant, which is swore to your fathers as it is this day." Your customers are not your source. For those that are running a business, your customers are not your source. Your employer is not your source. God is your source. He just uses these people as a vessel to provide for you. Father, we thank you for the wisdom shared today. Teach us to be faithful stewards of all you place in our hands. Give us wisdom to manage money your way, courage to multiply resources, and a heart to use wealth for your glory. Establish the work of our hands and let our lives reflect kingdom prosperity. In Jesus' name, amen. This is time for us to bring out our cameras, our phones, and scan this QR code. So it will redirect you straight to my Instagram for you to follow me on Instagram, where I share. If you get to my Instagram, you'll see some of the content that I've even shared there that can also be a blessing to you today. So take your time, scan the QR code, and it will redirect you to Financial Markets Queen. And yes, I offer trading mentorship. Like I said, I'm a trader as well. So trading is not just trading can also be a side hustle for you. Yes, there's so many ways you can be able to still be trading the financial market that you don't necessarily have to be in front of your camera, in front of your laptop. I don't always spend majority of my time in front of my laptop. I just analyze the markets, wait for markets to come to my area of interest. I execute, and that's it. So I teach trading mentorship. If you have anybody that is looking for a side hustle or that is looking for a main source of income that wants to learn how to trade the financial markets, how to trade foreign currency, how to trade stocks, I am a wonderful teacher. And I teach specifically just women. My brand is a niche brand. It's just for women. So I teach just women how to trade. And I also do a personal one-on-one personal finance consultation because I will help you to understand your money and to be able to manage your money and also be able to increase and multiply your money as well. That's what I do as a consultant. So if there's anybody that also needs that, you can refer that person to me. And like I said, strictly women. I don't teach men, I teach just women. And this is not a feminist thing. This is just my calling. I'm only to teach women, please. So yeah. And if you're not able to scan the QR code, you can find me on Instagram at Financial Markets Queen, or you can call or WhatsApp me today at 08063236654. So be generous even in your following, and let's keep learning together. So thank you very much for participating and thank you for being present up until this hour. And I pray I really hope that
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Mary Jane.
yeah. God bless each and every one of you.
Yes.
Bye.